So when I first heard they were making a Transformers movie, I was completely ecstatic. I could not wait to see Optimus Primal on the big screen. But then all my hopes after seeing the first trailer were just dashed away. And you're gonna find this funny, because I didn't know that there was a Transformers cartoon before Beast Wars. Now, I'm a fair man, and I do not know this Optimus Prime fellow, but I'm more than willing to give this Transformers movie a shot. So the movie begins with a bunch of American soldiers returning back to their desert base after a long mission. Everything's hunky-dory until an unidentified helicopter enters the base's airspace and doesn't respond when it's held.
Sir, Sis here 4500X was shot down 3 months ago, Afghanistan.
That's gotta be a mistake. Check again, then recheck.
I did, sir. A friend of mine was on that chopper.
Really, a friend of yours? I couldn't tell that from your robotic response. Since the helicopter's pilot hasn't responded on the radio, the guy in charge gives the crew of the helicopter an ultimatum.
If you do not comply, we will use deadly force.
Then he just lets the helicopter land in the base completely unharmed. You might as well wave a flag saying attack us here, please. The helicopter lands in the runway, and it doesn't take the military personnel long to realize that something inside of it is jamming their electronics. The power in the command center goes down, but the HP laptop that the soldiers use to talk to their families back home is a little bit more resistant to the attack and takes longer to shut down because, you know, obviously civilian equipment is more resistant to that type of attack. Duh. So instead of immediately attacking the source that's attacking you, the military instead surrounds the helicopter and once again tells the pilot to exit his vehicle. You know, that's one of my pet peeves. I really hate movies where the military operates like police officers. This is a top secret military base and something inside that helicopter is jamming all your equipment. Blow it the fuck up! Of course, all is not as it seems, because the helicopter is actually a Predacon, Decepticon disguise, and it begins to attack the base. Its purpose is to tap into the military network in order to locate something called the Allspark, but I don't understand why you'll outright attack a military base head on when you are a walking computer, but okay. Wait a minute. There are two problems with what just went down. First, yeah, it just ripped that large-ass hard drive, or whatever that is, out of the wall. It should be useless now. And secondly, if it's hacking the network, why is the information it is downloading appearing on the screen? I'm not even gonna get into how this is like plugging a modern-day hard drive into an old-ass Apple II. It just isn't gonna happen. The Decepticon continues his rampage and cripples the military base. But this is getting too interesting, so the movie switches to its main hero, Sam Witwicky, who's giving a presentation at school.
This isn't show and sell, it's the 11th grade.
Yeah, this guy's in the 11th grade. Sam finishes his presentation and manages to sweet-talk the teacher into giving him an A-. Since this makes his 5th A, Sam and his father heads out to go buy him a car. The two head out to a used car lot that is owned and operated by Bernie Mac. He shows the Witwickies around, and Sam takes an immediate liking to Bumblebee, who's disguised as just another used car. But since Bernie Mac wants $5,000 for him, Sam's father refuses. So Bumblebee takes matters into his own hands to ensure that Sam purchases him. I cannot help but be pissed at this scene every single time I see it, because if you just think about it for a second, Bumblebee just destroyed this man's entire business. We move on to a top-level meeting where the government has brought together computer techs from around the world to figure out what's going on.
And the only real lead we have so far is this sound. That's the signal that hacked our network.
Wait a minute, a fucking sound hacked a computer. I wasn't aware that if I screamed at a high enough pitch, that I could start hacking government computers. This movie is aware that computers don't make sounds themselves, only the moving parts inside of computers make sounds. And yes, I am ignoring these people here, because you can remove them from the movie and absolutely nothing changes. We finally move back to the team of soldiers that the movie started with, and in my honest opinion, should have been the movie's main characters, as they take a break from running to figure out what's their next plan of attack. And then they're done. Thanks for nothing, movie. I actually thought something was gonna happen there. Sam crashes a lakeside party, even though I'm not entirely sure it can even count as a party because people are just standing around. After a small argument with her boyfriend, Sam ends up giving Michaela a ride home. Some stuff happens on the way from the lake to her house that shows the two creating their initial bonds, but we're about 30 minutes into a movie called Transformers, but we've only seen one Transformer, so I'm skipping it. In the skies above, a Decepticon, has infiltrated Air Force One, and it makes its way down to the ship's belly in order to access the military network again, which is fucking unguarded. Now I wonder who came up with that design, because yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Put the fridge right next to the fucking computer that can launch the nuke, so even the stewardess can get to it. The tiny robot gets interrupted because they heard his hack in progress, but he gets enough information to know that he needs to find Sam and get a hold of his great-grandfather's glasses. Sam wakes up in the middle of the night and sees his car drive off. He gives chase thinking that someone has stolen his car, but ends up witnessing Bumblebee transform into robot mode and signal his allies. I'm still trying to figure out this movie's logic, because sound can hack computers, and shooting a bat signal into the sky counts as interplanetary communication. Anyways, the cops show up and arrest Sam for trespassing. The movie cuts back to the group of soldiers as they continue their trek in the desert towards civilization, where they come under attack by a scorpion-shaped Decepticon. They use a local's phone in order to call the Pentagon to get some assistance in getting their attacker off their back for the time being. And of course, that was way too much fun, so we cut back to Sam, whose father has picked him up from the police station. While in the kitchen, he witnesses his car's return, so he takes off on his mother's bike while being chased by Bumblebee. Sam tries to hide in a parking garage, but ends up being attacked by a Decepticon that hid itself as a police car. So finally, after having an hour invested into this movie, we get to see our first Transformers battle. Bumblebee snatches at Sam and Michaela, who just so happen to be in the area, and takes them to another abandoned area just so he can dump them off and battle the Decepticon. It kinda just makes you wonder why he didn't just find them in the first abandoned area they were in, but whatever. Bumblebee wins his battle and goes back to pick up Sam and Michaela and takes them to the meeting point where we're introduced to the other Transformers.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Okay, if you say so. The fake Optimus appears and tells Sam that his great-grandfather found Megatron's frozen body and accidentally imprinted the location of the all-powerful Allspark onto his glasses. After some initial complications, mainly the Autobots, accidentally taking out the power for the entire neighborhood, Sam is able to find the glasses, but before he can get the glasses back to the fake Optimus, he's picked up by government agents of Section 7. But they don't get too far before the fake Optimus and company stop the caravan and rescue the kids. The victory is short-lived, however, because government reinforcements show up and are able to recapture the kids and Bumblebee as well. But the fake Optimus really doesn't care because he has the glasses. Now since the government knows what it's dealing with, it starts pulling together everyone that's had any contact or experience dealing with the robots. The fake Optimus in the meantime scans the glasses to find the location for the Allspark, just for them to explain that the Decepticons now as well know where it is because one of them hid inside of Michaela's purse that was never checked when they brought her to the top secret government facility. They explain how the Hoover Dam was built around the Allspark to hide its signal from being detected. I can't lie, that's a kinda cool twist on history. The Decepticons show up and begin their assault on the dam in order to free their leader Megatron, who happened to be housed there as well, and also to get their hands on the Allspark. Sam convinces the government to release Bumblebee, and together they manage to shrink the Allspark down to a smaller, more portable size so they can sneak it out of the base. But the grand plan is to take the Allspark to a populated city.
Well, that's just prime.
Because of the assault, Megatron is eventually freed from his icy slumber and begins to destroy the facility from the inside out. Once outside, Megatron meets up with Starscream and the two head towards the city. What follows is the second most public display that the Transformers actually exist outside the coming city fight. So it makes even less sense that somehow in the second movie, the Transformers' existence becomes a national secret. The fight between the Autobots and the Decepticons turns the entire city into a war zone. The heroes have to hold their ground as they wait for helicopters to show up to get Sam and the Cube out of danger. Sam manages to make it to the pickup point, but before he can get to the helicopter, Megatron destroys it. After an extended battle with Megatron, the fake Optimus is left defeated, so Sam is forced to take a large gamble and unites the Allspark with Megatron, which overloads his system and defeats him. I'm sorry, but fuck this movie. I dare you, I double dog dare you to tell me the names of any of the Autobots besides for Optimus and Bumblebee. Matter of fact, tell me the difference between Megatron and Starscream. You can't, because they're both just a mesh of gray and spikes. For a movie called Transformers and the Transformers play second fiddle to some kid, it's just a joke. I understand that people like old school Optimus, so you can keep your heartless machine that just sits back and lets his people get snatched up. They show they can take down humans non-violently, so why not do it? And on top of that, this fool is straight up murdering other Transformers. No, you can keep your crazy Optimus. This movie, it's alright, it's fun for the explosions, but I just can't take it. This is gonna sound crazy, but these guys operate like a bunch of wild animals. Fighting on a damn highway? Just come on. My name is Quantum, and I'll see you next time.
What could I do? He was right. I'm a Maximal. I have to give peace a chance.